Savings at the Frontier seeks to bridge the gap between the supply of formal financial services and informal savings mechanisms, which we call ISMs, so that their users have a greater choice and use of financial services that best meet their needs. As part of this work, the programme provides funding and technical assistance to selected financial service providers, or FSPs, to test innovative and experimental approaches to linkage. We are working in partnership with 9 financial service providers in Ghana, Tanzania and Zambia. A spirit of partnership underpins everything we do in SatF, and we believe this spirit enables effective adaptive management. Before implementation started, we decided to co-design a tool with our partners that would embody this spirit of partnership, that could signal trust, enable adaptation, and allow for experimentation. The tool we developed is called the Two-Way Promise Card. As its name suggests, the Two-Way Promise Card is a two-way commitment. We don't want to simply make demands of our partners, but wish them to know what we will give in return for each promise kept. Our belief is if both sides keep their promises, this helps to build trust as their projects progress. In this series of 3 short films, we talk to some of those involved in the development and implementation of the Two-Way Promise Card and find out how it has worked in practice. In this edition, we speak to Robert Stone, who has been involved in Savings at the Frontier since implementation started in 2015. Robert is advisor to the programme, sits on its Governance and Investment Committee, and was one of the authors of a recent paper setting out our approach to adaptive fund management. Robert, thank you for agreeing to be interviewed today. As you've been involved in Savings at the Frontier for so long and in several different roles, please could you explain what it means to work in partnership with the different stakeholders involved in Savings at the Frontier?
Well, that's a very good question, because at first we didn't actually really understand what that meant. MasterCard Foundation set this up as SatF is described as a partnership between the MasterCard Foundation and Oxford Policy Management. And we didn't really understand what they meant by partnership. We didn't take it seriously as far as we were concerned. They were the donor, we were the consultant implementing the project. And as we worked through designing the project way back in 2015, we kept thinking, they're micromanaging us. Why don't they? They're engaging us to develop and design this project. Why do they keep coming back and giving us feedback on what we're doing? We don't want to be micromanaged. And we were getting quite frustrated. And then after a few months, I was at a conference with the project manager from MasterCard Foundation, and we had breakfast together. And I sort of hinted at what we felt. And he said, no, you don't understand. When we say partnership, we mean a partnership. We mean that each of us can bring something different to the party, and we want to work together with you. We don't want you to just go off and do it, then report quarterly and we'll monitor. We actually want to work with you. And what we came to realize, talking to the project manager and others, was that that was their intention throughout the chain. That they would partner us and we would bring what we had to the party, and they would. And we would be partners with the financial service providers. That we wouldn't just be donors giving the money and maybe a little bit of advice. We'd actually work with them. And hopefully the financial service providers, the FSPs, would also partner the informal savings mechanisms, the ISMs. They wouldn't just treat them like clients, like a normal client. They would work with them to help their members.
Thank you. And why do you think it's been important to instill that spirit of partnership from the outset and throughout the projects?
I think it's been crucial because, as I implied earlier, what it means is recognizing that everyone has something to contribute. Everyone has something to learn. As we said in the paper you mentioned on adaptive management, the emphasis is on shared learning and discovery, not just top-down communication of expertise. It's about finding solutions to challenges that arise together. It's not us telling the FSP, the bank, this is how you do it. It's us saying, look, this is how other people do it in other places. How does that fit in with your business model? They know the world they're in better than we do. They know what it's like to be a farmer in central Tanzania or a fisherman in southern Ghana. They know the industries they're working in, the agricultural environment, and they know their existing customers who aren't ISMs, they're higher income generally, but they can bring that knowledge, and of course they know how their business model works and what will fit. So we don't just tell them to do something and then it turns out it doesn't fit. They feed back and say, no, that doesn't work for us. So it's much better that we work together, as I said. But in order for that to happen, there has to be trust. It's crucial that we build mutual trust, that they believe that we will listen to them and respond to their needs and their concerns and their doubts about some of the things we're asking, and that in turn they will be honest with us and tell us what their problems are and ask us when they need a bit more leeway or need trust. We also hoped that the FSPs would do the same with the ISMs. That's proved a slightly tougher call because they are used to looking at people either as clients, who they offer services to and they take them or they don't, or as agents who they tell what to do. So the idea of working with ISMs as partners is not entirely there yet. But the two-way promise card between us and the FSPs enables us to adjust to all of this and to be more flexible. It's not do this, report to us quarterly and we'll pay you the invoice or we'll pay you in advance, whatever. It's if you've got something to do on the promise card that you're supposed to deliver and there's a problem, let's be flexible about it. Let's work out a way to get around it. For example, you have to get clearance from the regulator for certain actions, maybe like linking the ISM account with the individual member's account. That requires regulatory approval, and that's tough. The regulator is resisting or is taking a long time. So we then look at what they're doing to try and overcome that, and we change the promise, but we also work with them on how to overcome that obstacle. And we hope that, as I say, the FSPs will do the same. The relationship with the FSPs through this two-way promise card, as the paper shows, is tremendous. It means we can adapt as we go along much more easily. We know what the targets are. We know what we hope to achieve. So we've got a mechanism to know when we're not making it, and we can work together to adapt it. As I said, we hope the financial service providers, the banks and so on, will be able within their business model to do that with the ISMs. We're not there yet by any means, but I'm actually confident we'll get there, and this could be a really exciting experiment.
Thank you, Robert. Thanks so much for your time today and sharing your thoughts. And thank you to our audience for watching this, and please do look out for the paper we mentioned on adaptive fund management, and the link will come up shortly.